good or a bad budget for Northern Ireland?
I think for Northern Ireland it's a bad budget. Absolutely nothing in terms of relief for our hard-to-press agriculture sector. Rather reaffirmation of the death tax, which is stultifying growth in the agriculture sector. I think whereas much has been made of the fact that there's 370 million of foreign consequentials, the problem is spent through Stormont has already spent it because they're already 400 million overdrawn. So that money's gone in terms of making a real impact, and very disappointing that nothing to meet the PSNI's needs, nothing to meet the data costs, nothing to meet the shortage in officers. I really did hope that the government might have done something about that, so that is very disappointing. And much talk about 16 million they've thrown at trying to ameliorate aspects of the Irish Sea Water, but of course when you analyse it, it's over 3 years and it's less than 5 million a year, instead of course doing what they need to do, which is to remove the international partitioning border that's presenting customs difficulties to our trade and our industry. The situation is so dire in policing. I thought that maybe recognising that Stormont is incapable balancing its own budget and dealing with this issue, that's demonstrably so, or be dealt with by now. I'd hoped that they might have made some contribution to that, but certainly not. So that does put the ball very much back into Stormont's court, but I think with some in government in Stormont, policing is not a priority, and that's why we've got to this situation. If policing was the priority it should be, then it would have had this funding out of Stormont instead of the squander we've seen on many other things.
And what do you make of the bigger announcements around the income tax, especially it's still being frozen, the two-child benefit cap? Are there no chinks of light in this budget for people in Northern Ireland?
Well, nationally, taxation is rising because the freezing of the tax thresholds means that everyone who's working will pay more tax. Now, there's some relief for people with the removal of the two-child cap, but that's a very careful balancing act which might get well out of kilter, because if you have non-skilled, low-income families with 3, 4, 5 children, this change is going to probably make it more beneficial to stay on benefits than to work. And we need to get the focus and the direction on encouraging people into work. And as for business, there's nothing in this budget for business whatsoever. So it's a budget such as one probably expected from a Labour government. More borrowing, more welfare expenditure, and more tax. And none of that's a good recipe for growth, which is what's needed in our economy.